Hello, my name is Michael Holmes from Homebuilding and Renovating, and today I am with Peter Richardson from Senec International Insurance Services, the company behind the well-known brand Self-Build Zone. And today we're going to be talking about how you can combine your building control inspections with those for your warranty. For a consumer undertaking a home improvement project or a self-build project, who's there to check the quality of the building work? How many different inspections are there?
If they're not buying a warranty, they do need to have the local authority building control or building control provided by a recognised building control body. It would just be the one inspector who would come and check that they're achieving building regulation standards.
And if they're using a warranty provider, would there be a separate inspector coming to check the work during the build?
There could be. We can facilitate building control through our inspection process. So the building control contract is a separate contract between the self-builder and the building control body, and that's paid for as a separate item. We can then use that same building control body to do our inspections to determine the progress of the build from our perspective.
Normally, somebody undertaking a self-build or a home improvement project would have to have building control inspections, statutory building control inspections, and somebody would come along to site and check the key stages in the building work. If you're having a warranty, do you have a second inspector, or could you use the same person?
We could use the same person, and quite often it's easier for the self-builder to use the same person because they don't have to wait for a second inspector to come, and actually there's a cost saving because if they're already inspecting that key stage from a building control perspective, all they're doing is giving us a report then about that stage of the build.
And can you combine the statutory inspections for building control with a warranty product to give you a guarantee at the end?
Yes, you can. We work with building control bodies who also do our audit process for us as well. From the self-builder's perspective, it's first of all it's cheaper, and secondly it saves them time because they're not having to have two inspectors coming to site to look at effectively the same stage of cover.
For somebody just relying on building control inspections, do they have any form of guarantee on the quality of the workmanship should something go wrong later?
None at all, no. And if they're using local authority building control, they don't really have much recourse to that local authority building control body as well.
For somebody who's taken out a building warranty for their self-build or their renovation project, at what point does that warranty come into force, and do they get a certificate, or what form does the warranty take?
Well, they get two certificates. The first certificate they get is their sign off by building control to say the property is complete and in accordance with building regulation requirements. We will then receive a copy of that certificate to demonstrate the house is complete, and we would issue our own certificate for the warranty on the property for 10 years.
To get sign off for building control for a new dwelling now, you have to have an energy performance certificate. For that you need to have done an air pressure test. Normally these are checks that are farmed out to third-party consultants. Is that always the case?
No, it's not. In fact, our approved inspectors doing our periodic visits for a warranty can also provide all of those services at the same time.
If you're using a stage payment mortgage to fund your self-build or conversion project, you've got another set of inspections checking the progress of the building work, so that's yet another cost. Is there any way of combining that with either building control or warranty inspections?
It can be with either. We can provide it with our warranty inspections. There would normally be an additional cost for them to produce a certificate, but it can be done by the approved inspectors.
And if you also want to use them to undertake the stage valuation inspections for your lender, who would you talk to?
You would talk to us. Our subsidiary Build Zone Survey Services will undertake those stage inspection or arranging those stage inspection with our inspectors. So we would ask them to confirm with an inspection certificate that the property has reached a particular stage, which would be issued to the customer, who can show that to the lender.
And would most of the major stage payment, or all of the stage payment lenders, accept those stage payment inspections?
Yes, they will.
For somebody who's undertaking home improvements, how do they know whether or not they need to have building control inspections?
Essentially anything involving any building works, not necessarily minor works, but certainly some bigger works will need to have an element of building control input into it. They really need to consult with their local authority or local building control providers to establish whether or not they need to have that.
So there's a scheme of subcontractors who are able to sign off their own work. So if you work with approved competent person scheme, you wouldn't need to make a separate application to building control.
That's right, yes.
And in terms of building control, whose responsibility is it to make sure the inspector comes out or signs off the work?
That's the self-builder's responsibility.
And if you have a main contractor working with you or subcontractors, is it their responsibility to make sure building control check the work, or is it down to the homeowner, down to you in other words?
You would expect, if you're using a builder, you would expect them to take that responsibility on themselves. If you're the homeowner using subcontractors, then it would be your responsibility again to get the building control inspector at the right time.